Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we're super happy to have you here. And if you've been listening and enjoying for a while, I would be super grateful if you would please take a moment to give us a review on Apple Podcasts. It's one of the best and simplest ways to pay it forward and help others find the show so that they too can tap into the powerful perspectives and positive vibrations we are collectively emanating. The other unique and magical way to share this show is by sending any friends you think would benefit from listening to this podcast our Game with the Universe link at positivehead.com/game. Also listed in the show notes, which will serve them up a quote-unquote random episode when they click it. Just instruct them before clicking the link to close their eyes for a moment and sincerely ask the universe to queue up the episode that contains the insight and perspectives that they most need to hear at this point in their life journey, and then click to listen to whatever episode is synchronistically served up to them. I have heard time and time again from people about the incredible results they received playing the game. So just tell your friends magical results are guaranteed or their karma back.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome. Welcome one and all. I am super grateful you've joined me on this magical today. Today, I had a video come across my feed and I wanted to share it with you all because it is in line with what we were talking about on Tuesday. So this video came through from the website called Navajo Traditional Teachings, and it is called The Symbolism and Navajo Teachings About the Rainbow and Rock Crystals. And of course, I immediately saw that and said, oh, let me take a listen to that. That sounds interesting. And I don't know about you, but I love to learn. I love to learn new things about different cultures, things about history. And when I listened to this video, I learned something that I didn't know before. And I've learned other things associated with this idea or other teachings that are similar to this idea, but I didn't know the way the Navajo looked at it. And what I find fascinating is that throughout all different cultures, all different customs, these basic concepts are always the same. And the Navajo have a beautiful way of communing with nature and understanding things. And so I love to hear their perspective. And on Tuesday, I shared a bit of Jesus Christ, and today I'm going to share traditional Navajo teachings because, again, I love to learn about all different cultures, and I hope you do too, because for me, it helps me put the puzzle pieces together. When all these different cultures are saying the same exact thing, just in a different way, it's like, hey, here's the truth. And I happen to like the truth, and I'm willing to bet you do too. So take a listen to this perspective from the Navajo Traditional Teachings website, again called The Symbolism and Navajo Teachings About the Rainbow and Rock Crystals.
But the rainbow is something that is also taught as the invisible ways that the holy people communicate with us, their children. We cannot see the holy people. If we hear them as an individual experience that only we can hear them. Inside of the corn pollen pouch, we usually have a small piece of rock crystal. When the light shines through this rock crystal, it fractures the light, and so you see 7 colors, which are symbolic of the 7 sacred ceremonies, which is called the Hojunja, or the beauty way. In the traditional teaching of our Dene, there is the sacred teaching of the rainbow. And the rainbow is a very special symbol. It's a symbol of the way that the holy people communicate with us. And so just to share a little bit of it in the language of our people, Nat Ildit is what we call the rainbow. And it is depicted in so many different ways as it is presented in colors. But the rainbow, when we see it in the sky, we point at the rainbow with a thumb as it goes across the, at its 2 points that it comes in contact with the earth. Sometimes people are able to see the full rainbow, which is then a circle. But also the idea of pointing at sacred things with the thumb. We point at the medicine bundle with the thumb. And we point at a newborn baby with the thumb. And we also point at sacred ceremonial objects like the dry painting. In any of the ceremony where sand painting is made, they usually enclose it with a rainbow design. And you point at that with your thumb. There's a lot of teachings about the rainbow. But the rainbow is something that is also taught as the invisible ways that the holy people communicate with us, their children. We cannot see the holy people. If we hear them as an individual experience that only we can hear them. Or if we think that we can sense them in any way, we're the only one as an individual that can sense it. And it's the way that the holy people communicate with us, their children, which is not visible to us in any way in a physical setting. And so it is a symbol of their invisibleness. But the holy people are a symbol of purity and clear and truth. So when we have the coming of age ceremony for the young people, we are told that now they can see. Banat the Hazli is the way that they say it. And that means that they can see now. If it's a woman, she can see the man in a different light. If it's a man, he can see the woman in a different light. And so it is that there are 7 sacred colors in the rainbow. They are symbolic of the 7 beauty way ceremonies. And it is very important that they understand that when they have this coming of age ceremony. I don't go into that ceremony very much because it is considered very sacred to the way that it is presented to the young man when he has become a man. It's a very sacred event when a young woman or a girl becomes a woman. And so that information and sacredness of the information is only given to them at that time. Thereafter, they can follow up with a lot of questions throughout their life. And so it's very important. And it is even just in a small amount, I can tell you that when a new day begins, we use the white cornmeal, natatke, as a prayer offering. As we bless the new day and offer up our prayers for a new day, it is the female that gives birth to the new day. And then in the evening, we use the yellow cornmeal, natatsui. And that is the prayer offering that is made. And that yellow cornmeal is symbolic of the pollen and that is only provided by men to make life and to make the reproduction of life possible. So all sorts of things are taught in the traditional way about the rainbow. And so one of the things that we have is the corn pollen pouch. And inside of the corn pollen pouch, we usually have a small piece of rock crystal that is inside of the corn pollen pouch. Also in ceremonial settings, we have the regular full size of a rock crystal that we have in the ceremonial setting that is put to use. But it is that when the light shines through this rock crystal, it fractures the light, and so you see the 7 colors, which are symbolic of the 7 sacred ceremonies, which is called the Hojionja, or the Beauty Way. And those 7 ceremonies are the one that the Astanatlehe, which is the changing woman, when she was leaving her children to go west, that she returned and gave them the 7 ceremonies. So you have that symbolic in the stirring sticks that are kept in the home. The stirring sticks are there to provide protection not only against the hunger, but it also is to protect every area of the children and the family members against all kinds of things that would harm them, that would be protecting them from spiritual harm or emotional, mental, physical harm. And so it is to protect the family with those ceremonies. And so all of that comes from the holy people in a clear crystal light form. And so it is always important to understand that besides the 7 colors that are visible, there is an 8th color, which is clear crystal light. And that is very important because it is in the traditional teachings of all things come in 8, in 4, 8, 12, and so on. And I always say up to 32, it is always based on the sacred number 4. And so the traditional teachings of our people concerning the rainbow, the coming of age ceremony, is that we have a teaching that says there is only light that is male that can shine on the male. There is light that is female that can only shine on the female. And between the two different lights that are received by the male and the female comes reproduction. And that is the fundamental law of the universe, is that you cannot have life and reproduce life without the male or without the female. They have to be both present so that reproduction is possible. And that is what is taught when we have the coming of age ceremony. And the rainbow is so much a part of the teaching that we receive at that particular time in our life. And so it is that those are the things that we are told.
So if you listened to Tuesday's show, we talked about the duality here that exists in our 3D reality, and also the journey that we're all going through here in this human existence, and how that requires both aspects of this duality. We need both life and death, dark and light, male and female, in order for this existence to continue, for us to be here. And the Native Americans were taught these understandings by their ancestors, by the holy people, by the star people. This understanding that the light is all that we are, what makes up what we actually materially see. The photon is the building block of all matter. We know this now. But the Native Americans knew this thousands of years ago because they paid attention to their inner guidance, to their inner wisdom. When he was talking about it being invisible, the way the communication happens between us, the humans, and the holy people. It is not something physical that we can put our finger on, and it is always an individual experience. And what's interesting about that is that each and every person having their individual experience and then coming up with very, very similar things. We noticed this today just in our groups when we journeyed together, all seeing very, very similar visions, coming up with the same concepts, because these holy people talk to all of us. And if we're listening, we will get the same messages, and they will come through in a way that is individual for us and for our understanding, but the concepts remain the same. These 7 sacred ceremonies are reflected in the colors of the rainbow. What I find interesting about the 7 sacred ceremonies is that we find these ceremonies in other traditions as well. Namely, the one I know most about is the Catholic religion. I grew up Catholic, and we have 7 sacraments. I don't consider myself a Catholic now. I don't consider myself any religion of any name. I like all things. But we have 7 sacraments in the Catholic Church. And I think that the Catholic Church and other religions as well have gathered these things from these indigenous cultures. And we see it reflected in things like the 7 sacraments or the 7 ceremonies. The beauty way. And the beauty way is a reflection of these colors, these vibrations, the light that makes us us. Each one of these colors is a vibration, is a symbol, is a code. It is part of the blueprint that we exist within. It says somewhere in The Return of the Bird Tribes that the rainbow is a half circle that we must complete in our hearts. When we bring this rainbow full circle, we understand all these different aspects of ourselves, all these different colors that make us who we are. When we're able to harmonize these colors, balance these energies within ourselves, center ourselves within our heart center and come from this perspective and live in that way, then we have come full circle. And these colors are here to remind us of the beauty of this way. They are, as he said, the rainbow is a symbol of the way the holy people communicate with us. Their communication with us is to help us remember who we are, and they show us through our light. And this symbol of the crystal and the light that shines through is a reflection of us. This is why we love crystals so much, because they are us, and we can communicate with them and talk to them, honoring this energy that is us, that we are. We are this light energy. There is nothing else that we are built from. The photon is the building block of all matter. And the natives knew this thousands of years ago through their own inner communication. The octave of experience here is such a beautiful thing to look into, to understand, to know, because as we understand this octave, we understand ourselves. I think I'm going to leave it at that for today, y'all. We'll get into this more. I love you all. I'm going to leave you with this song by Geometry called Codes of Creation. Until next time, love you all.
Between all species on the earth plane has to do with something that is going to create